Hey, what's going on? Daniel from These Seven Seas, and it's been a few weeks, but I am so excited because I got something into my collection that, man, I've been really looking forward to. Now, I don't know if this is gonna be like a review or an overview or first impressions because I've already had a variation of this guy in before. But I guess I'll call it a commentary and just gonna be a free form kind of a discussion conversation. So let's just put it that way, right? All right. So if you are aware, this is the Holt Bladeworks logo. It's this box. So let's just go ahead and open this up. Now, if you get a knife from the Holt, you might get either a box or a pouch. In this case, it is a box. Now, I've had several of the Holt Bladeworks knife in my collection, and most of them were in pouches. Like this guy, when I got this guy in, this is the Renegade, it came in a pouch. Now, I do prefer their boxes. I feel like it kind of makes it feel a little bit extra special. But yeah, so it's gonna be kind of a hit or miss. You might get a pouch or a box, but if you get a box, it's gonna look something like this. I love their lion head logo, man. Just something so regal, something so cool about a lion, you know what I'm saying? But let's open her up. Now, once you open up the flap, you're gonna get something like this. This is their Selingo card. It has all the information about the knife. You have to just tap it on your smartphone. I think it's really cool. Something pretty, unique. I don't see other knife companies or knife makers doing something like this. So I think it's kind of cool. And then you're gonna get I guess it's just, I don't know, like a business card, and their, if you need their support or warranty or whatnot. And then get a couple of stickers. Man, I love when they throw in these little extra doodads, super cool. Finally, the star of the show. This is the Spectre V4. Let me just get this guy out of the way. Now, very quickly, you could tell which version it is because the previous versions are all frame locks, I believe. And then when they came out with the V4, they made it like an inset liner lock. So there you go. That's really the first telltale sign that this is a V4. And then also the milling on the pocket clip. I believe that the V4s is when they start to do the milling pattern on the pocket clip itself. The previous iterations, it's kind of like a blank pocket clip. So it's really cool how they added that little extra, to that. Super cool. I believe this is called the flux pattern. Now, the Holts, they do several different like milling patterns. They have like the starburst, they have the feather, they have pinstripe, they have like 4 or 5 different ones. This is called the flux, if I recall correctly, and I think this is one of my favorite patterns. This thing looks so stunning in person. And like I mentioned, you have that pattern that continues on the pocket clip. Super awesome, man. I'm a huge fan of the Spectre platform. I'm kind of bummed that they don't really make the Spectres anymore. They did retire this model to then go ahead with the haptic and then the Morpheus, and now the Renegade. And then I did see recently, I think a few weeks ago, that they have 2 newer models coming out. I forgot the names of those models, but it is in the works. So really, the Spectre is the OG. I think this is what really started off. But actually, let me take that back. Actually, the Holts, I believe they started in the knife game with fixed blades, if I recall correctly. And then the first folder was the Spectre, and they made different like evolutions of this, with the latest one being the V4, and then they moved on to the next model. I've had the V3, so you could check back in my archives, maybe 2 or 3 videos back of the V3 that I did a video on, and absolutely love it. I did end up selling it, and then right after I sold it, I was like, man, I need to get another Spectre in. Oh my gosh, I there's just something so special about a Spectre, just something so unique. The action is just incredible, so phenomenal. You know, I love the silhouette of the Spectre. It's just so streamlined. You know, all the lines just flow in together. Even when it's closed, it's a very slim footprint. You know, everything is just, you know, it just all goes together so nicely. You know, all the lines are flowing, and then really the only interruption is with that flipper tab, but otherwise the blade is just really nicely just sits inside of those handles. But man, I just love the overall silhouette of the Spectre. I think it just looks so subtle, but yet so just attractive. And I want to bring out the other Holt. This is the Renegade. Number 17. This is number 1199. I was kind of curious, what was the last kind of Spectre they made? Like, what was the last serial number before they moved on to the next model? But yeah, I believe this was made, actually I don't even remember when it was made. I haven't really tapped the Selinko card, so I'm not sure. But I would say the Renegade is really I think they took all the lessons learned from their previous models, all the best features, and they brought out the Renegade. Man, this Renegade is so awesome. But anyways, let me go ahead and put that back. You know, since I have other knives out here on the table, let me go ahead and bring out one of my other favorites. This is a Koenig full-size Arius non-flipper. It's definitely lengthwise. The Spectre is a little bit smaller. But not by, I would say probably if I line it up from, like, you know, butt to butt, you know, you get maybe a 1/4 inch longer on the Koenig Arius, but otherwise, you know, I would say it's fairly comparable. Now, a knife that I think a lot more folks may be more familiar with this is a large Sabenza 21. Now, this is very comparable. I think lengthwise is very much, I mean, very close. And then in terms of the silhouette, the profile, they're all very similar. So if you have like a Sabenza 21 or 31 and you're kind of curious how the Spectre kind of carries, I would say it's dimensionally it's kind of in that same range, you know what I'm saying? And then of course one of my other all-time favorite EDCs, man, there's the Oz Roosevelt. There's a second Roosevelt that I've had in my collection. I sold my first one. It was like a radial frag pattern, but I actually love this radial one a little bit more. And I love how this one has like that darkened pocket clip and backspacer. So just everything is very subtle. Absolutely love this knife. But I would say the Spectre, oh my God, it's become my absolute new favorite EDC. This thing is just so phenomenal in every way. The action is just so good. Rock solid lockup. Oh man, it just feels so good in the hand. It has a very neutral handle shape, as you can see. And so it feels very comfortable in all sorts of grip styles, right? Boom. You know, you have like this kind of this milling pattern in the back to kind of give you that sense of like where your thumb lands. It feels very good. This thing cuts very well. Full flat grind M390. My gosh, I don't know what else to say about this knife. I also did take it apart. And you may be able to see there was a lot of milling going on. Some milling right there. And then you'll have the what do you call it, the name inside the handle. So you'll see Holt Blade Works, and then right around here you'll see the serial number. It's 1199. But yeah, this knife is just ridiculously awesome, guys. I know it's a little bit, I don't want to say dated. I think these were in production like in like 20, I want to say 2017, 18, 19, and 20-ish. I may be mistaken, but you know, they were, you know, kind of the heyday of the Spectre. I think was around that time frame. And man, during that time, everyone and their mothers wanted a Spectre. Now, interestingly enough, back in, you know, in those days, you know, to get a Spectre on a secondary, you would have to pay like, man, 1,500, 1,700. I think table price on these were, you know, actually, I don't know what the table price on these are, to be honest. I think it's under 1,000, or it might be right around $1,000, you know, but people were flipping these for like $500, $600, $700 more, and people were snatching them up. Nowadays, now we're in 2024, I don't see a lot of Spectres go up on the secondary. I do see them come up sometimes in the Reddit knife swap, sometimes in the Holt Bladeworks BST Facebook group, but not all that often, you know. And so when they do go up, I do see them go up around, go up for sale around $900 to $1,000. So I think that's definitely a lot more reasonable. Personally, I don't think I'd drop like 1,500 for the Spectre. Yeah, you know what? Honestly, for that matter, I don't know if I'd drop 1,500 for any knife, no matter how good it is, because you know, you start to get to a point of like diminishing returns. You know what I'm saying? Where it's just like, it's good, but is it like $500 better good? I don't know. That's just my opinion. You know, but I don't fault anyone that's willing to spend that much money, man. You know, this knife game is not like a very reasonable hobby. So if you're like trying to get it into the knife hobby, and you know, you're like, man, I would never drop that much coin on a knife, like just give it time, man. Trust me, very quickly you'll start dropping a pretty penny for some of these knives. But yeah, with that being said, like, I still think this knife is, I mean, at the very top of like the production kind of CNC knife game today. You know, even with all these amazing knives that are out, that are coming out. You got like the Craig Brown, you know, the Cortex XL. You got, you know, the Roosevelt, you know, the Oz Machine Company, what they're doing. You got, you know, Koenig, of course. You got, I mean, the Lamnia, SPK Lamnias, that seems to be very popular right now. Yeah, so I just feel like we are in the heyday of the knife game, where we have so many amazing options, and we have almost like weekly, I feel like there's like new knife makers, new knife companies coming out with just some crazy awesome knives, you know what I'm saying? But even with that, and I've handled, I would say, the best of the best out there, this thing really still stands apart for me. You know, this thing has everything that I'm looking for in a knife. It has the visual aesthetics, it has amazing craftsmanship, just American made, American manufacturing. It has phenomenal action, buttery smooth. I mean, everything is just so dialed in, you know. Very easy to take apart, clean up, maintain, and put back together. You know, it didn't take me like all that much time to do that. It's just, yeah, it just performs very well. So it just really has everything that I'm looking for in an ADC. Gosh, this knife is phenomenal. Yeah, I've been carrying and using this knife for about 2-3 weeks now, and I gotta say, it still keeps impressing me every time I'm using it, every time I'm carrying it. It just, there's this pride of ownership that I have, you know, and I don't get a lot of that. I mean, actually I do. Every knife that I have in my collection, I'm just so grateful to be able to own these knives, you know. And all of these knives are just phenomenal in their own right. I've really trimmed down my collection, guys, a lot. I used to have like 20 knives or so. I've slimmed them all the way down to about these guys right here. This is my whole collection, guys. And if you look at the state of my collection video from back in, I think it was January, I had like maybe 15 knives, 12 knives. I sold them all off, and I really wanted to slim down my collection to the knives that I was like really, you know, interested in, and it's come to this. You might notice there are some knives that I said I absolutely love, but they're no longer here. So just honorable mentions would include like the Grimsmo Rask. I absolutely love the Grimsmo Rask. I think that's going to be the next knife that I bring into my collection. The Rask is just amazing. Just so amazing. Yeah. I might try the Holt Morpheus. I hear a lot of good things about the Holt Morpheus. Would love to try the Craig Brown Cortex XL, and then also the Oz Roosevelt XL as well. Oops, this one's gonna stay. And yeah, and then the Holt Morpheus. Yeah, did I mention that already? Yeah, I've become a big fan of the Holt Blade Works. I'll be honest, I think I mentioned this in my Spectre V4 video, but the first knife I tried was a haptic, and I was just like, I didn't like it. You know, I had some mechanical issues, and I'm sure the Holts would have taken care of it. I sent it back, but I was just like really turned off by it, and I just didn't really go back to it until fairly recently. When I got the Renegade in first, and I was just like, it blew me away. This knife is just crazy good. And then after that, it really sparked my interest to try their Spectre, because I know, honestly, if Holt Blade Works are known for anything, is really they're known for this guy. All right, they're really known for the Spectre. This knife is just look at that. Beautiful anno work going on. This is mesmerizing. You know, and then you'll see some like kind of purple, blue, pink kind of flare going on right there. It's very similar to like the color that I get on the pivot, like where you kind of have that bubblegum cotton candy going on. You kind of get that right there. You might be able to see it a little bit on different angles. Yeah, so these are like, you know, cousins, I would say, you know. But man, this knife is just awesome. If you're able to, you know, also I don't have the V3 anymore, and you know, a lot of people seem to love the V2s, and then the V3s, and then the V4s, and then the V1s. I think that's kind of like the popular preference. Between the V3 and the V4, I like the V4 a lot more. Yeah. Oh my god. This V4. Now, people love the V2s. You know, they say that the sound, the acoustics are just different. It hits different. But I don't know. This V4 is just, my goodness. My goodness. This knife is just so good. So good. Ugh. Yeah. That's what's up. That's what's up. Oh my gosh. Yeah, this knife is just, whew, so good, guys. But anyways, those are my thoughts. I guess this is more like a commentary of this knife. But yeah, feel free to drop down any questions or comments you may have. With that being said, I will see you guys later.